Everyone agrees that doing 100 reps for your chest every single set is a waste of time. It's actually burning muscle instead of building muscle. Everyone agrees that training your legs 30 minutes non-stop with reps is stupid. It will burn muscle. So why then are 20-minute ab workouts so popularized? Why then are people doing 50 to 100 reps of bicycle crunches and 4-minute planks, and you name all the weird stuff up? Abs are still a muscle. I think the problem is that a lot of people have been sold the bias that abs are somehow different than the rest of our muscle groups. Everyone knows, like I just described, that 100 reps of bench press, it's not doing anything. But when you post a 30-minute ab workout video, suddenly, oh yeah, millions of views, likes, comments, whatever. Abs are a muscle like every other muscle in your body. It's crazy, I need to explain this to you. So how do you train abs instead? We're going to do the following. First of all, there are two different muscle groups in our abs. Well, muscle groups. We have the upper abs, so the upper two, and we have the lower abs, the lower two. Everyone has a genetic capacity. So I, for example, only have 6 abs. Some people have 8, others have 10. Some have 4. It doesn't matter. How are we going to train the upper abs? Upper abs is, you probably have done this before, have seen this before. It is a crunch movement. It is tilting your upper body towards your pelvis. What a lot of people do wrong is they do sets of 50 to 100. Again, I'm not exaggerating this, but they are laying straight on their back and there's a that is not doing anything except from building a few extra calories. What we need to do is what we are doing with every other muscle group, progressive overload. So over time, we want to increase the weight or the amount of reps that we are doing. In this case, especially the weight. How are we going to add weight? A suboptimal approach could be holding a 10 kg or 15 or 20 kg plate and then doing crunches. That's already better than what you were doing before. But there is an even better option. The cable crunch. So you have a cable station, you set it in the highest stand, you attach a rope, you kneel down with the rope in your hands, you hold it like this, and what you're then going to do is just tilting your upper body towards your pelvis. But okay, so in a concentric motion, so the squeezing part, it's the same as a normal crunch, despite that it's a bit heavier. The real juice is when we stretch out. What would normally happen if you are laying on our back? You use a bit of tension, okay, go back. You lay down again, feel it. It's zero tension in your abs. If you now do the same, we crunch, but now we are pulling up, and here is the farthest, the most far we can go. There's still tension in your abs. If you have been watching some gym content, you would know that tension in the stretched position of a muscle group will deliver the most muscle growth. This is exactly what I'm describing here. Tension, because the weight is not in its starting position, so there's still tension on you. In the stretched position, because like right here, we can all agree that right here our abs are more stretched than if we are like hunching over. Right? So that is what we're going to do for the upper abs, 4 sets for a workout. Then the lower abs are usually where people have the most struggles with. And there are 2 exercises I need you to do. The first is going to be any form of a leg raise. Leg raises can be really difficult if you've never done them before. That's why I would recommend starting laying down. It's not optimal, but you will build up the technique and a little bit of strength in that position. So you're on your back and you just raise your legs up and down, up and down, up and down. If you can do that whilst controlling this a little bit, so not throwing it around, but just up, control, up, control. If you can do it 20 times, that is when you can lay down on a bench and put it on a decline. So the bench is like this, and your legs are here. Now you see, instead of this, now there is more range of motion. There's more. This is the stretched part which is the most hypertrophic. That will cause more muscle growth. If that also is easy for 15 to 20 reps, that is when we will go to the Roman chair. It is this, actually a dip machine can work as well. So you are on the dip machine, but instead of dipping for your chest, you now do knee raises. So you raise your knees up towards your head whilst moving your pelvis up. I've made a video on this before, but I don't know if you can see. This is my pelvis, right? Just this. When we're doing a leg raise, we want to do this movement. This needs to go up. That is when our lower abs will contract. Once that is easy, leg raises. Now we do a stretch. So now we are showing our ass towards someone who is in front of us. Like, probably there's nobody, I hope for you, but then you're kind of showing your ass to the person in front of you. You get what I mean? If that also is easy, then we will go to toes to bar. This is the most difficult form. Now you're hanging on a bar, right? And your toes are going to touch the same bar that you're hanging on. That's difficult. Because with this exercise, you cannot really add weights. You can use ankle weights. I've tried it, but I would not recommend it because the way the weights are now positioned at the end of your feet, your hip flexors get to do a lot more work, and actually you get less ab activation than if you would do just normal without any weights. And those ankle weights, you can maybe do a max of 5 kg at both sides, even less, I guess. Once you can do 20 reps of these, now you will start adding more seconds into the concentric. So, for example, you do the toes to bar and you control it for 4 entire seconds. So that will be a lot harder than. You get what I mean? And once you can do that for 20 reps, that is when I would say, get me up, bro. Congratulations. At this point, you will have amazing abs, and you don't really need to train them as hard anymore, and you can just maintain them with doing 2 sets of 20 reps, once a week for maintaining, and maybe twice a week, and maybe you'll get a little bit more gains. But that's it. Another exercise is dragonflies. Bruce Lee used to spam these, and if you've ever seen his core, pretty impressive. Of course, not now, but during the movies. Search it up yourself what a dragonfly is, but it is where you are laying horizontally. Again, you start horizontally, and it's a bit of the same as a leg raise, unless with the dragonfly, you control the eccentric immediately for 4 seconds, and you can build it up to like 10 seconds. So it's again, you pull the legs up, and you kind of also throw your ass up a bit because you need to up your pelvis. You want to engage lower abs, and then you have a really slow eccentric, and over time you can first do it again on a bench with some form to hold on that you don't fall over. So now you have because you are on a bench, there's more, because the floor is now here, and instead of this is the floor and you can only go so far with dragonflies, now you're here and there's more range of motion. Doing it on decline gives even more range of motion. Bro, if you can do all these exercises, so those 3, and kind of maximize them, you have decent abs and you don't need to worry about them anymore. That's when you can jump into your next part of your fitness journey. So maybe you want to grow your calves more, but that's for another video, okay? So take notes on these 3 exercises. Do not do the 20-minute weird crap of it. Is just fatigue maxing. It's just burning calories. It's not building any muscle. So if hypertrophy and bodybuilding is your goal, definitely listen to my advice. See you soon.